Welcome. I'm Suzette McHigh, Industry Partnership Coordinator at North Monco Technical Career Center. Today we're going to take a look inside North Monco and learn more about some of the programs that we offer at the school. Joining me now are Ryan Coyle and Tyler Knox, both students in our Welding and Fabrication program, and I'm glad you both could be here today.
Thank you.
Ryan, let's start with you. How many years have you been attending North Monco?
I've been attending since my freshman year, so 3 years.
3 years. So how did you hear about this program?
My counselor had told me about it in 8th grade, and my friend wanted to join too, so I just said, why not?
And you've liked welding since you began it?
Yeah.
Did you know anything about welding before you even started here?
I took the tour and I did a little bit of research, but I didn't know anything about it until the first day of class.
Okay, how about you, Tyler? Was it similar experience?
Yeah, originally, I took the tour and my mom signed me up actually, and I did have meetings with guidance counselors, but I didn't really want to go to tech, but after I got into the classroom, I really, really liked it, so I'm happy I joined.
So what made you interested in the welding program?
Right when I got to it, we're working with fire, and we're building things, it's hands-on, you're not always behind, you're not always writing stuff down, it's actual physical, hands-on things, and that's what I really enjoy, so that's why I'm into it, why I like it the most.
Okay, that's good. Ryan, so Tyler's told us a little bit about it being hands-on. Tell us what a typical day is like in the class.
Well, either we're going to be sitting in the classroom taking notes, just talking about it, or we will be in the lab working, practicing, and building.
See, I think sometimes people get the misconception that when you come over to North Monco, it's strictly all hands-on, and they don't realize that you need some of the bookwork too, taking the notes. What do you learn when you're taking the notes? I imagine there's some safety requirements.
Yeah, right when we get to the welding program, you would be doing a lot of safety, and you got to do a lot of bookwork and safety because you have to take a quiz, and there's multiple things that you have to learn before you just start going out there and messing around with the equipment. So 100%, yeah, we have to learn a lot of bookwork, but it's mostly hands-on, yeah.
So, Ryan, with the safety, is there certain safety equipment you need?
Yeah, we need a helmet to block the UV rays, and a jacket, and pants, boots, and gloves to protect from the heat.
So every student has to have their own in order to work in the lab?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I know you have a simulator. Did you start with the simulator before you got to work in the lab?
Yeah, we have 2 Lincoln Electric simulators in our classroom, and those don't leave the classroom, they stay in the classroom. They're totally they're not actual welders, so you can do all the welding applications that you can in the real world, out in the shop, but it just takes it to the classroom where you can do everything and learn without getting your hands dirty, so that's what I really like about the simulator.
So it's a virtual welder, basically.
Yeah.
What is it like? Can you describe it? If I'm just trying to picture what it...
Well, you walk up to it and you can put your helmet on, and you drop your helmet and you grab the electrode, and you can type in what electrode you want, and you can even type in the setting and where you're at in the specific job field. So it's really it almost turns into reality. That's what I really like about it, so yeah.
So you get to see how you weld without wasting any equipment or anything. So this is something really beneficial for new students.
100%,
yeah. Ryan, when you started in welding, did you feel like there was anything really challenging when you first started? I imagine, 9th grade, it's quite a big difference starting to do welding.
Yeah, mainly just getting the speed down, getting used to actually just welding, and getting used to the schedule too. Instead of having all day of just classes after classes, it's broken up half and half.
Okay, so half the time you're at your sending school taking your academic classes and
Yeah.
half the time you're at the tech school. So that's great. What about specifically anything welding? I'm thinking, say there's an 8th grader watching saying, "Well, welding, that seems scary, the fire, the flames." I mean, even
Yeah.
parents are thinking that.
Yeah.
What do you think could be something that you overcame, a challenge that you had when you first started?
I remember, this is actually a crazy story. When I first got into tech, and my teacher kept building and building about how safety is so important. So I'm thinking, oh man, like I'm gonna go out there and like burn my hand off and this and that. And I went to the nurse the first day of the class because I got so scared, because we were learning about how if you have a heart pacer or a heart murmur or something like that, it can mess with that. So I went to the nurse thinking like, oh, my heart's gonna have some type of effect. So yeah, if parents are thinking like it's gonna be dangerous for North Monco, like for your students to go there, I wouldn't think that, because they take a lot of consideration to your kids, like number one, safety. So I wouldn't really be, yeah.
Yeah, and welding, I know you can't be in the lab if you have a pacemaker.
Yeah.
I know, I see you have glasses. I know you can't wear contacts if you're working in the lab too. So there are definitely a lot of different safety precautions, but we make sure you follow them to keep you guys safe.
100%.
So, Ryan, if there's a student interested in the welding program, what advice could you give them?
I would just say go to the tours, go to the open houses, talk to the teacher, see if it's something you actually want to do, and if you seem interested, go for it.
And you're right, there are opportunities for students to try other programs. If they find that welding isn't for them, there's still 21 other programs they can get involved
Exactly.
with. Tyler, would you recommend this to any of your friends? And if so, why?
The welding program specifically?
That and North Monco.
Oh, yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I would recommend it to anybody that's looking for hands-on activities or job when they get out of high school. Reason being is because college with like academically is not 100. It's not always that person's thing. Like that's not for everybody. I'm trying to get at. So
Right.
if you have any doubt in your mind where hands-on activities or hands-on work is your thing, just go ahead and try it. It doesn't hurt to try it. So that's what I'm looking at now. I'm in the position I'm at where I'm about to graduate next year, and I'm like, man, like I'm really happy I joined. So yeah.
Well, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned graduating. You still have another year. Do you know what you want to do when you graduate?
Right now, I do want to get a job in welding. I know that. I know that I'm going to probably get my certification for stick welding at the end of this year, most likely. If that happens, I'm going to be getting a decent job out of high school, and I can work my way up in levels and show I'm a good worker in the job I'm going to be at, or I could like continue my education, so at like a college level in welding too. So I would probably just jump right into the field though. Honestly, yeah, that's probably what I would do.
Well, you mentioned certifications too. Can you earn other certifications while you're currently
Yeah.
in high school?
You can actually like pick which certifications you want to an extent. I mean, the school does have like its protocol and what they need to get by and teach in their school, but you can really like pick and choose if you want to learn this type of welding or like MIG welding or TIG. So a lot of varieties out there in just a specific field like welding. Yeah.
Right, because there is a state curriculum they have to follow,
Yeah.
but there are opportunities. I know your class does a lot with the American Welding Society,
Yep.
so there's a lot of opportunities there. I know they're trying to hold a welding competition so you can compete against students from other schools around the area
Yeah.
that offer welding, so that will be exciting.
Uh-huh.
Ryan, what's your favorite part about attending classes at North Monco?
My favorite part would probably just be the hands-on part, because I'm the type of person who just can't sit still in class. I have trouble focusing, I'm bored, and when I go to tech, I'm just welding, just getting my stuff together and doing it actually hands-on, so that's my favorite part.
Well, your teacher is so enthusiastic about the welding program, and he selected both of you to be
Yeah.
here, so I guess he knows that you're both just as enthusiastic about it. What do you want to do when you graduate? Do you have an idea yet?
I know I want to go into the welding field, but I don't know if I want to go to college or just jump right into it. I'm not 100% sure though.
Do you know about any career opportunities that are available in welding? Any different avenues?
I do know we actually took a field trip last year, and we went to CHL Systems right up the street from here, not too far away. And basically, let's say you do MIG welding. You can do that in pharmaceutical welding, so that's like very, very precise, clean. You got to have everything nice and neat. And then you can go out and do pipeline work. So, and that's dirty. You're out in the cold, like. So there's just different types of jobs out there.
So a wide variety.
Yeah.
I know a former student from your program, she is working building staircases, very like gorgeous, elaborate staircases. She works for a company. And on the side, she makes different creations like jewelry and wind chimes, stuff like that as a side business with welding.
Yeah.
And she also, since she graduated several years ago, she also is now teaching a basic safety class for welding in our evening school. So there are so many opportunities out there.
Yeah.
What skills do you think someone would need if they were coming into this program? I mean, it could be something simple as hard work, or do they need something more detailed that you think?
I know that you probably have to have just like a steady hand, some type of like, you have to have like a creative mind to it, because everybody, when you see somebody's weld, you can pinpoint that. So I look at like welding as almost like an art. If you see somebody's weld, you can really just spot that out. So I think a steady hand and having some type of, if you like drawing, that's why I think welding, yeah.
Patience.
Yeah, patience.
You think patience?
Yeah, because you're not just going to walk right in there and be able to fuse two pieces of metal together. You're going to mess up, you're going to have little flaws in it. So as long as you know you're not going to get it right and to just keep trying, you'll be good.
Is there anything you worked on that you're very proud of?
Couple things. I remember the first bend test I did, I failed, and just the other day, it wasn't like a real official bend test that I did, but I welded just like a really good weld, and I went over to the bend tester and cranked it and then started twisting it to bend, and it bent. And the first one I did, I was pretty bummed. It didn't pass, it broke. And the second one I did, I was pretty happy. I was like, I had to work for that. And I see that could be somebody's family going over a bridge, and my weld didn't crack, and they didn't get into a tragedy like that. Or it could be so many different things that my weld can accomplish. Like, so that's why I really take a lot of pride into what I do in welding.
And I think that's what people don't understand. They
Yeah.
just think welding, you're just back there doing something, but it really touches so many avenues of our life. So it's a very important field, and we wish you all the best as you continue on. We really appreciate you being here today. So we're going to take a quick break now, and when we come back, we're going to talk to some automotive students from North Monco Technical Career Center. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Today we're taking a look inside North Monco Technical Career Center. I'm Suzette McHigh, and joining me are Mark Price and Adam Ditzler, both students in our Automotive Technology program, and Steve Catania, one of our instructional assistants, and I'm glad you're all here today. Steve, we're going to start with you.
All right.
Your background's pretty unique, so tell us a little bit about it.
Well, my father and uncle, they own a body shop and mechanic repair business, and I started working there when I was 10 years old. So I knew I wanted to get into the automotive industry way back then, just based on them. So even before I got involved with counselors and stuff at the middle school level, I knew I wanted to go to tech school. So I went to North Monco when I was in high school, and what I really liked about the program then was I was able to do co-op. So I was able to actually go out and work and learn more while still getting credit for being at school. From there, I went to college at the request of my father, and at the time, Montgomery County Community College had a program for automotive technology. I graduated from that, top of the class, and then I went on to Westchester for business management. My father recommended me use my degree, so I did, and I briefly worked in finance, and it wasn't for me. I was miserable, and you have more of a connection working on vehicles. You get to deal with customers, you help people. Finance, not so much. So I decided to go back to the shop, and then I said, you know what? I want to go to the school and help out students. So.
And we're glad we have you back here. So, you started as a student, and now you're back helping our students. So we're really glad for that, Steve. So, Mark, tell me, how long have you been a student here?
This is my 3rd year.
What made you pick the automotive program?
Well, my dad, he drag races, and he got me into wanting to race cars, so I want to work on them now.
So do you think, is that going to be your ultimate career goal, or do you not know yet?
I'm not really sure yet if I want to either work on race cars or
Do you
new
think
cars.
you want to stay in the automotive field?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
because Steve's telling you don't try finance, so. How about you, Adam? How long have you been a student here?
I've been a student for 2 years.
And what made you pick the automotive program?
I picked automotive because I like cars, worked on cars my whole life with my dad and my grandfather, so I decided to pick that over the one trade that wasn't continued anymore.
Okay, so do you think you want to continue in the automotive field?
I like it after I started working in the field more.
So, okay, working in the field, I know Steve mentioned co-op. I know you both told me you are out working, and you're considered Pennsylvania Youth Apprenticeship students at North Monco, which means you're a full-time student. Can you explain what a full-time student means?
A full-time student goes to North Monco full-time, so he learns all his academic classes there, like math, English, science, social studies, but we also go out and work in the public, like at a shop, and do what we do in our lab, which is like automotive mechanics. So we learn like 2 different ways.
So, like Steve was saying, part of your day, on certain days of the week, you get to go work out in the field, and then the other days you're in your program learning automotive, and Steve's helping out there.
Yes.
So that's a really great opportunity. And is that the same for you, Mark? Do you have that same opportunity?
Yep.
Well, can you tell me, Mark, what's a typical day like in your classroom?
So we go to tech, and then we do book work for about an hour, and then we go in the shop and we work on whatever there is to work on.
So, Steve, our welding students earlier were talking about safety and how that's a big thing.
Yes.
What's it like in automotive?
So every year, the students are required to take a safety test before they're even permitted in the shop. And it's the same test from the year before. So we're trying to figure out why the kids don't ace it each coming year, But it's very important, right? And we have all kinds of the SDS sheets, okay? It used to be MSDS, material safety data sheets, what happens if we come in contact with a chemical. We teach them about these books and the materials and, this can harm my skin or this can hurt my eyes. We want to take the proper precautions to ensure the safety of all the students first and foremost, and that's that. So, yeah, and what aren't you allowed in the shop without?
Safety glasses.
Right, see?
You get big trouble.
Exactly. Oh, I know. I can't even walk out in the lab if I don't have my safety glasses. We get hollered at too.
Yep.
So it's very important. I'm glad to hear that. Mark, I know there's so many different equipment in your program. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Because I think it's so exciting. I love walking through it.
Well, we have a lot of different machines, and that we can do pretty much anything we want. We can align headlights, make sure they're straight, fix air conditioning systems.
So I guess there's also some safety with the equipment because it can be under a lift.
Yeah.
So Steve, is that something that's worked on?
Yes. So we teach them how to properly set up the lifts, because you don't want a lift falling on you. So we find the proper jacking point, we show them where that's at. We raise it up about 6 inches or so, and we give the car a shake to make sure that it's on there good. And before we go any further, we always yell clear, okay? Because we don't want somebody that's, down in the car, stuck in there, or dropping the lift down on someone. So we're always very adamant about the safety.
Well, that's important,
Yeah.
very important. Now, I know your equipment, you have an agreement with Hunter Engineering. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, Hunter Engineering comes in and they have their equipment there so they can use our school as a training facility for outside employers and such. And in return, we get to use that and teach the students how to use the alignment equipment, the balancers, the brake lathe, tire machines. And there are some certifications that students actually can get through the Hunter equipment.
Well, speaking of certifications, what other certifications can the students learn?
The students can get their ASE student certification, which is different than a regular ASE, but it will get them exposed to it. So it's valid for 2 years. A regular ASE is valid for 5, and they don't need any work experience for the student certification. For an ASE, I believe it's a minimum of 2 years experience you need that you can prove. But once they get these, should they go out on co-op or go get a job or something, they can show this to their boss and say, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I passed this test. And it's just, it's a foot in the door.
So does that make them more employable then?
Absolutely, yeah, they're more valuable. And in the field, when you can get your real certification, your real ASE, a lot of shops will give you a raise for each one you get.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
So, have you guys earned any certifications yet?
I have not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Yeah, they're both 11th graders, and typically we make it available to them in 11th and 12th grade. So
So it's
by
still
the
on.
end of the year, they should be taking the test.
Okay. Now, we mentioned about the Hunter equipment, and I know I was talking to both of you. The Hunter equipment we get is state-of-the-art equipment, their newest stuff. And you both are out working in shops now. One of you mentioned that you have Hunter equipment at your shop and the other doesn't. So,
Yeah, I have a Hunter wheel balancer.
so how does it make you feel that you're training on this incredible equipment and then you get to use it in the work world too?
It's really great because it makes everything like really easy.
Right, you probably have a heads up on somebody that's just coming off the street trying to get a job. You already know how to work that equipment.
Yeah.
So Mark, what is your favorite part about attending the automotive program?
Probably getting all the experience because I want to do this like the rest of my life. So it will really help me like start early and.
It's a
So,
great
yeah.
beginning, definitely. As Steve can tell you, it's a great beginning. How about you, Adam? What's your favorite part?
Probably working out in the shop. That's probably my favorite part.
The hands-on, you're not really into the book work. You want to.
No, I'm not book smart. I'm more good with my hands.
Right, because once you learn it in the book, then you want to show how much you've learned, which is really good. Now, Steve, think back to when you first started. Was there anything before you began automotive that you were afraid of, or because you had that experience as a young child, there was nothing that was new to you when you came into the school?
So my experience was in body work and mechanical systems, but I didn't have a lot of experience with electrical stuff. And I know even today the kids are weird about electrical because you can't see it. You can't understand how it works as good as something that you can see. But over time, you read about it, and by doing it over and over and over again, that's how you learn about it. And that's what we try to instill in our students. You do it till you get it right.
Do you get to work with students in any of the other programs? I mean, you're mentioning electrical. I don't know if they interact at all.
We've worked with students in welding before, I believe. I personally go around to a couple different programs. So I go in the diesel program and the small engines and the auto collision. And, they all kind of intertwine, especially like the body shop, the mechanical aspect. Some people just stay, strictly mechanical, strictly body work. Well, sometimes you have to remove a panel to get to something to fix, so they do work in conjunction with each other. So, yeah, we do work with other labs.
And that's important so you can get the overall whole picture. Plus, it gives you more career opportunities that you didn't know were out there, What do you find most challenging in the automotive program or field in general?
The most challenging, I think, is learning about like how to use a tool right. Because if you don't use a tool right, you can hurt yourself with the tool.
Oh, okay. So there's specific ways to use them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's very good. I didn't even think about that. How about you, Mark? What do you think is the most challenging?
Probably just like getting used to like how like people want things done, like because at tech they want it done a certain way, and then at my work they want things done a certain way.
Okay,
So
and
you have
then
to, like,
you have to
adjust.
accommodate to the
Yeah.
customer too.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, Steve, what career opportunities exist for students coming into the automotive program or, graduating from it?
Well, obviously they could be an automotive technician. Once they get bored of that or they want to move on, they could become a service writer, somebody who writes like estimates or tickets on what needs to be repaired. They could be a shop foreman, a manager. They could be a car salesman. There's all kinds of stuff. Anything related to a car, insurance adjusters, a lot of people go into, which is more collision related, but again, there's the mechanical aspects too, because that stuff gets damaged in an accident as well. So you can become an instructor someday.
Right, see, exactly. All sorts of career paths. Adam, what advice would you have for someone that's maybe in 8th or 9th grade, considering this program, not quite sure? What would you tell them?
Probably go talk to each teacher, because each teacher has a different teaching style. So you can probably get a good understanding of if you want to go into that field with the teacher, because they usually are really good with hands-on stuff. So.
And I think that's important that you say that about our teachers, because they all have a background in the field that they're teaching. They didn't come out of school and just become a teacher. Actually, at technical school, it's a little different. They have years of experience in the field before they become a teacher, so that's why they can offer all that advice to you. That's good to know. Okay, now, Mark. It's winter, the weather's a little different. What helpful tips do you have for us? What should I worry about with my car? Any kind of helpful tip you could give us?
Well, in the winter, tire pressures go low a lot, and it can ruin your tire if you don't have it set to the right temperature. So you could be buying tires sooner than you really need to.
So how do you get them checked? Where do you go?
Well, you can go to a gas station. You can usually fill your tires there, or you can take it to a shop, and someone will come out and do it.
Okay, that's good. Steve, how about you? Any tips for us?
Windshield washer fluid. Yeah, especially with the ice that's coming down, when it freezes on the windshield overnight, you want to have that stuff, or all the salt and the junk on the road, it really makes a mess out of the windshield. So to have clean visibility, clean and clear, keep that topped off.
Well, that's important. We definitely know that. There's nothing worse than pushing that button and
Nothing comes out.
Exactly. So, Adam, was there anything when you first started, that you were unsure of, that your teachers, you said speak to the teachers was the advice you wanted to give, anything that your teachers helped you with?
They helped me with a lot of things. If I was never unsure of something, I always asked, and then they would guide you toward the right way. So probably one of the things I was most challenged by was probably the lift, because that's a really important thing to learn about.
Right, the safety he mentioned before, and you're right, that is a big, intimidating thing, lifting a car up, so that's good. And like you pointed out, very important, ask questions. No matter what program you're in, no matter what class you're in, ask questions, and that will help. So I'm glad you all joined me today. I really appreciate everything you taught us about the automotive field. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
If you would like any information about any of the 22 programs offered at North Monco Technical Career Center, visit our website, www.nmtcc.org, or give one of our counselors a call, 215-368-1177. For North Monco Technical Career Center, I'm Suzette McHigh. Thank you for watching.